Tonight, the National Colors are presented by the Woodrow Wilson High School Air Force Junior ROTC Color Guard. The Color Guard is commanded by Cadet Master Sergeant Brittany Buskus. The Color Guard members include Cadet Second Lieutenant Amanda Horton, Cadet Master Sergeant Jeremy Baker, Cadet Master Sergeant Robert Bosley, and Cadet Senior Airman Elizabeth Leah. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the National Anthem. Flag on play. Ball kicked out of bounds.
What's up, nigga? Big Leonard? My son, you bring no preacher. All right.
I don't know.
Let's go. Go right.
Marcus Man's on the carry for about 15 yards.
Come on, baby.
Energy on the carry.
That's unfair.
Second and 10. Around the right side, number 22, Marcus Mans. He gets about 4 yards on the play.
Here he comes the side.
It'll be 3rd down and 6.
Let's go.
Beckley recovers the fumble. It'll be 4th and 12 for the Eagles. Going into punt formation.
That's all right.
Punt one out of bounds.
Let's go, D.
The Eagles line up in defense.
Let's go, defense. Let's go, defense.
Number 44, Brandon Rush on the carry. Buffalo on the stop.
Quarterback is the son. What? Ready for the eye.
Outside! Right there, catch him!
Marcus Gall on the carry. Talking about Parker Logan. And Mickey and a Joe. Referee timeout for measurement.
Run over.
Here's a guy you can't even see.
First and 10 for the Cougars.
busted play. That's a busted play.
Malik with stop by 62. Austin Peters. McAnajay also on the tackle. Incomplete pass. Pass intended for number 15, Corey Bennett. Broken up by number 18, Connor Coleman. Third and 8 for the Cougars. Pass for number 15, Corey Bennett. Number 18, TC, Connor Coleman on the coverage. 4th and 8 for the Cougars. Number 47, Tyler Sheets, is the punter for Cougars.
This man's on the far side to receive this capital punt.
Tyler Sheets, and boy, he's a good one. From his 33, kicks it, just got it away in time, and it's sailing down, hits on the 20, and it rolls across the sideline at around the 12-yard line. We had watched Tyler Sheets warming up in the pregame for Capital, and boy, he was bombing 50-yard punts, and that time it crosses the sideline. Let's see where they will spot it. It's inside the 15, and that's where Woodrow will have the ball deep in their own territory after the teams exchange punts. Just under 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. There's no score, and the sun is just about to set. A perfect venue here at Flying Eagle Stadium for two of the state's best teams, spotting the ball on the 11-yard line. That's where Woodrow will have their second opportunity on offense from the Beckley 11. That's where Woodrow will take over, going left to right. Ian McCullough calling signals out of the double wing. He pitches it out to Mans. He's got an opening. He turns to the right side. He's got a big gainer across the 15, across the 20. Tackled on his 22-yard line. It appears to be a first down. It all depends, Maris, on where they'll spot the ball.
Well, it was on the 11-yard line. If they give him the 22, which they should, that's 11 yards. That should be a first down. There should be no measurement needed. It is a first down, as the official indicates. Bill, we have our first score of the night. Our Friday night scoreboard is brought to you by JanCare. You see us everywhere, including local sporting events. Keep this number handy by your telephone, 255-1588. The first score of the night we have is Hedgesville leading Frankfort 6-0. Martinsburg in front of Rockbridge, Virginia, 12-0. Both of those are first quarter scores.
I've been waiting for those. Pitch it out to Wesley Walker for Beckley. He turns the left corner, and he's got a big gainer across his 25, and he's tackled shy of his 30-yard line. Wesley Walker, the 6-foot senior, 190-pound Beckley running back, got ahead of steam. He had an opening on the left side, and he followed his blocking beautifully and advances the ball to his 29-yard line, where it'll be second down and 3, Maris.
7 yards on that first down. That's what you like. But, Bill, the reason you were waiting for that score, Rockbridge, Virginia was the team that Beckley scrimmaged. Martinsburg is the team that Beckley's always played. That's why you were interested in that score.
There you go. Rockbridge, by the way, is Lexington, Virginia, in case you're wondering. Second down and short for Woodrow, just shy of their 30. Pitch it out to Mans. He turns upfield. He's got an easy first down, and he stays on his horse across his 35, and he's tackled at his 37-yard line. Marcus Mans, the very talented running back. In fact, he can do so many things for you. 5'9", senior, 170 pounds. They'll move the chains as Beckley will have a new bunch of downs starting from their 37-yard line. No score, Maris.
Yeah, this is the third first down of the night for the Flying Eagles. 6.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. As you mentioned, no score. Beckley has put together back-to-back first downs. The Flying Eagles have it first and 10 on their own 37-yard line.
And here comes Woodrow. Double wing again. And McCullough is calling the signals. And he will hand the ball to Walker. Walker tries to go left, and Capital had that one smelled out, and they'll stop him for no gain. So a nice defensive play by the Capital Cougars out of Charleston. And boy, oh boy, they were ready for that one that time. You know, Maris, normally the first quarter of any football game, even though the teams have seen film on each other, it takes a while to find tendencies and to really get to know what the other team is doing. Corey Bennett was the tackler for Capital.
Yeah, Bill, he got a very good spot. They gave him about a yard or yard and a half up to the 38.
Eagles will pitch it out to Mans. Mans has running room. He's across his 40, and he's gang tackled at his 43-yard line. Marcus Mans again. He is a good one. 5.5 minutes to go in the opening period, no score. This is Beckley's second possession. In front of a big crowd, the middle of 3 home games to begin the 05 season here at Flying Eagle Stadium. Next week, it's Parkersburg as the Big Reds are in their 100th year of football, and they're ranked right up there in the top 5 in the state. Right now, though, you've got 2 top 10 teams, according to the Charleston Daily Mail, playing right here. Third down, and it's a short 4 to go for Woodrow from their 43, and Capital may have jumped across the line before the snap of the ball. What did you see, Maris?
Well, I'm not sure, because this is the funny part. Beckley is pointing at Capital. Capital's pointing at Beckley. If Capital jump, that will be a first down, and it's going to be offsides on Capital. That will get the ball out to the 49-yard line, and that should be enough, and it will be enough for a Beckley first down. That's a big play early in the game. Exactly 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter, and there's no score.
Okay, and Woodrow sends the new play in the person of Tyler Coleman, the wide receiver. Boy, oh boy. You know, Maris, you and I had a chance again to attend the Hall of Fame dinner and hear from Coach Lilly and to hear from Coach Dale Stafford and Street Surratt. They do a terrific job. We'll tell you more as the evening goes on about what they had to say. Pitch out to Mans. He turns upfield. He's got a big gainer. He's across midfield and tackled on the Charleston 45-yard line. So he's got him another 5-yard gain, second down and 5 to go for the Beckley Flying Eagles in Cougar territory, just near their 45.
And Bill, I love what I'm seeing from Beckley. They're yet to throw the ball in this first quarter because their offensive line is doing a job, and they're getting 3 and 4 and 5 yards a clip. And they really stopped themselves by that fumble that they recovered. When they mishandled the ball the last time they had it. This is a nice drive. Second down for Beckley. They need about 5 yards. The ball at the Capital 45-yard line.
Jacob Morris is going to snap the ball to the Beckley quarterback Ian McCullough. He does so. He hands the ball to Enijay. He leans forward and gets a couple of hard-earned yards down to the 43-yard line of the Capital Cougars. Wearing lucky number 13 on his maroon outfit, Emeka Enijay, a 6'1 senior 200-pounder. He was a running back for each of the last 2 years, suffered injuries last year, did not have the kind of season he wanted, but the year before he set the single-game rushing record against Greenbrier East. And so he's got plenty of talent, but for the team this year, he has been moved to fullback, and he's doing it and doing a great job. Double wing for Beckley, 3rd down and 3 in Capital territory. Pitch the ball out to Walker. He's got a big opening. Check me on that. That's Blaine Mayo. Mayo may go all the way, and he is. Blaine Mayo is going to score for the Beckley Flying Eagles. The sophomore's got it.
43-yard touchdown run, and Bill, like I said, I love what Beckley was doing. They had not been able to have to throw the ball because they were running it so well. They run a nice power sweep here to the near side, and breaking it is Blaine Mayo. Once again, fresh legs. I believe that's his first carry of the night, coming down the near side into the end zone. Beckley up 6-0.
Mayo had a nice game in the second half last week in the Beckley 25-0 win against Riverside. So the Eagles sophomore puts Beckley on the board with 3:13 left in the opening period. Swinging gate for the Beckley PAT. The linemen start off on the left side. Now they go to the center. Ball is spotted down, and Yambrick is ready to boot it through, and it is not good. So Yambrick not able to get the PAT. The score aids Woodrow Wilson 6 and Capital 0, and this big crowd is drawing their approval. We're late in the first quarter, and we'll be back in a minute on the Big Dog 99.5 WJLS. ready to kick the ball off for the Flying Eagles. It sails down to the 9-yard line. Here comes the Capital return up the middle. It's to the 20, to the 30, and the tackle on the 35-yard line. All right, so Beckley with a 6-0 advantage. Maris Lowry will tell you about the TD. Plus, he's got a couple of scores. Here's Maris.
Bill, all on the ground. The Flying Eagles go 89 yards in 8 plays. Takes them 4 minutes and 42 seconds to do so. A 43-yard touchdown run by Blaine Mayo. The PAT is no good. Beckley in front right now, 6-0. The first score of the game is brought to you by Plateau Medical Center in Oak Hill, serving our community for over 80 years. Quality health care right here. The scoring recap brought to you by Leisure Lanes, located on Johnstown Road in Beckley. Give them a call. 253-7328 as the futuristic bowling also tonight after the game. Capital has it first and 10 on their own 34.
And the quarterback Witten gives the ball to Brandon Rush, the big fullback, and he hits the proverbial stone wall. He was smacked down by Etta J, among others. You know, we were giving you the Woodrow Wilson defense, and we need to mention number 58, Kevin Baker, who was in there for the Beckley team and has really shown signs of brilliance. It is 2nd down and 10 yards to go. The ball is on the 33-yard line, so it's just a bit more than 10 yards to go for the Capital Cougars. Kevin Streets is the wideout to the near side, and the flanker goes to the far right. Beckley will blitz, give it to the tailback guy. He's got a big opening. He's got a big gain. He's across his 40, tackled at the 43-yard line, maybe 44. It all depends on where the ball is spotted if he gets a first down. I think he's a yard shy, Maris.
Yeah, he's going to come up a little short at the 43. While we got a minute, Bill, I'll get some scores in. The scoreboard brought to you by JanCare. Give them a call, 255-1588. Well, it is University leading East Fairmont 6-0 in the first quarter. Summers County in front of Liberty of Raleigh 7-0 in the first quarter. And also, that is what we have right now. James Monroe and Shady, no score in the first quarter, and that's on our sister station, AM 560.
High in the backfield behind Witten, the quarterback. He hands it to Guy, the tailback. He shifts and he turns upfield, and he's going to be taken down for a 2-yard loss. And give the tackle to Adam Parkulo, among other Woodrow Wilson defenders. Great defensive play. It'll be 4th down and 2 yards to go now for Capital as they have the ball on their own 43-yard line.
Bill, you've got to love what the Flying Eagles have done. They went on an 89-yard touchdown march, and then they kick off and they hold Capital 3 and out. Big momentum swing, I think, for the Flying Eagles. Beckley leading 6-0 with 1:35 remaining in the first quarter. We're having a measurement, but I can't see why they were having a measurement because he was. They got him way behind the line of scrimmage here, Bill. He's a good yard from picking up the first down.
Well, they're giving him a generous spot, so it's a foot to go, and he really didn't get quite that far. They're spotting it closer to the 44-yard line. It'll be 4th down and a foot to go. Maris, it's early in the ball game, 1:35 to go in the first quarter, and a 6-0 Beckley lead, and Capital is lining up like they're going to punt the ball.
Yeah, well, they should. It's 4th down early in the game in their own territory. They're going to see if Beckley will jump off sides. If you're Beckley, be disciplined. Don't jump off sides, and you'll get the football back.
Tyler Sheets standing inside his 30. Good snap. Here comes a 3-man rush, and boy, here's a monster kick. Down to the 15-16-yard line. It's taken there by Tyler Coleman. He gets through an initial line of tacklers and advances it past the 30, tackled on his 32-yard line. So a nice return by Woodrow Wilson's Tyler Coleman, and the Eagles will have their 3rd opportunity on offense.
Bill, you know, last week I talked about a gentleman from Las Vegas listening on the internet. I've just been handed a note, and I'm going to let you read about another young man in Detroit, Michigan, listening to the ball game on the internet.
Says, hey guys, Tim Checkeye just called home, and he's listening to the Big Dog through the internet. So we will give you a big shout out. Law School in Detroit, Michigan. Way to go. We do indeed miss you. And glad to have you listening across America and around the world on the Big Dog, courtesy of WCG Net, your one-stop internet shop on WJLS.com. 1st down and 10 to go. 1:15 to play in the first quarter. Running play, Woodrow Wilson up the gut. Good for a couple of hard-earned yards.
Yeah, that's going to be a 2-yard gain from the 33 to the 35. Beckley in front, 6-0 as we approach 1 minute remaining in the first quarter. The Flying Eagles had a beautiful 8-play, 89-yard drive that Blaine Mayo capped off with a 43-yard touchdown run, but they did miss the PAT. But Beckley looking good right now. And Bill, in the 2005 season, the Flying Eagles have put up 31 points and haven't given up a thing yet. You got to like that through a game and a quarter.
Yes, sir. Well, the ball started. This drive started on the Eagle 33. It's now on the 35. 2nd and 8 to go. Woodrow, double wing again. And back to throws McCullough. Rolling right, firing right. Hits his man Ali Marquis. Markel Ali catches the ball near the 40-yard line, bumped out of bounds at around the 42. It is close, but not a first down. Nice play by Woodrow Wilson. McCullough, who's got a rifle for an arm and has not had a chance to use it much this year. He was 4 out of 7 throwing the ball last week, and 1 touchdown for Woodrow Wilson. 72 total yards for McCullough. And now they're going to bring the chain gang again.
Yeah, Bill, we've got to work out the chain gang. Last week they had to do this 3 or 4 times from the far side of where the chains are in front of the Capitol bench over in front of the Woodrow bench. But that was a nice play. McCullough's rolling, and they're looking for lines deep. He was covered, so they throw the ball short to Markel Ali. A nice gain, and he's right at the down marker, and he's going to come up, I think, just maybe a couple inches shy. So it's going to be 3rd down and inches, Bill.
At the 42-yard line, we have 31 seconds remaining in the first quarter. In a fast-moving ball game, both these teams like to run. They have mirror defenses, and so this is one of those pure football games where both these teams like to tee it up and run power at you. And we're glad to have you listening on the Big Dog.
Well, Bill, the thing I've been very impressed with is this offensive line for Beckley. The Flying Eagles have been able to throw power and speed at Capitol, and that's why they have this early lead, 6-0. It's going to be 3rd and short here with 31.7 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And now they put the ball down, as you mentioned, at the 32-yard line. This will probably be the last play of the quarter, barring a penalty or an incomplete pass here.
Micah Carter for the Eagles on that line is a 320-pound tackle. I wouldn't be surprised if they run right over him. Let's see. Uh-oh. He jumped offside. That's indeed what they were going to do. And 15 yellow hankies go in the air. There were people in the stands throwing yellow hankies. It was so obvious.
Well, Bill, you were so right, and that's really a bad penalty because Beckley only needed a couple inches for the first down, and now you're going to need 5 full yards. But you're right. I think he was so anxious because he knew the play was coming right behind him that he just, he just went too soon. But that's a real bad penalty. Let's see if Beckley can overcome that on this 3rd and 5 now with the ball back on their own 37.
Wesley Walker comes into the Eagle backfield. He had such a great game last week. He'll come in for Parkulo, and Tyler Coleman is the new wide receiver. Brian Price is one receiver on the near side. Beckley will put triplets on the far side. McCullough throws the ball, short hop. It's picked up. On the left side, Marcus Manns makes something out of nothing. He gets very close to a first down with 24 seconds left.
Bill, they're calling that a lateral. That's why they didn't call it an incomplete pass, because the call was thrown behind, and I think that was the right call, but it's going to be short of the first down, and Beckley's going to have to punt. So that's going to be the end of the first quarter. It looks like the officials are waving and calling and stopping the play. Maybe they're going to measure. I don't think he's made it. I think he's a little short.
I think he is too, but that was a very, very smart play by Marcus Manns because McCullough was getting the rush, and there were 3 receivers that were stacked on the far side, and the ball short hopped the 3rd man in that stack, Manns, and he caught that ball anyway, acting like it was a lateral.
Well, it was a lateral because that's the way they called it, but I think if the ball didn't bounce, he probably would have picked up the first down. It's going to bring up 4th down now, and the ball is going to be at the 41-yard line. 4th down.
Yeah.
They need about a yard with 9 seconds remaining in the quarter. I would think if you're Beckley, you got to go ahead and punt it right here.
Flying Eagles with a 6-0 lead. They scored on a Blaine Mayo 43-yard gallop, and the PAT from placement missed. So Beckley 4th down and less than a yard to go near their own 42-yard line. And there's a momentary timeout. Time to remind you you're tuned to the Big Dog. 99.5 WJLS FM Beckley. Bill O'Brien with Maris Lowry. And we want to keep it here. Oh, thank you very much. We'll be switching to a commercial in the next few seconds. In fact, now they're starting the clock, and they're going to let the time expire in the first quarter. Now we're done with the first quarter. A 6-0 lead, Woodrow. We'll be back in a minute on WJLS FM.
Yeah, I got some here, but the Flying Eagles are lining up like they're going to go for it. They may be just trying to draw Capitol off sides here.
Double wing, Woodrow, 4th down and a foot to go. McCullough, long count. And now he calls the timeout. Maris, you're absolutely right. Let's go to scores.
Well, we'll go some scores right now, and your scoreboard is brought to you by JanCare. You see us everywhere, including local sporting events. Keep this number handy, 255-1588. All right, we'll get that back to our listeners. It is 4th down. The thing that surprised me here, Bill, that Beckley, even though they didn't decide to go for it, they would burn a timeout. Now they're lined up. maybe they actually are going to go for it. Let's see what happens.
Fourth down, a foot to go. Eagles on their own 42-yard line. Pitch the ball out. Blaine Mel, he's got the first down, and he stays on his feet. He's up to the 45, and he's tackled right at the 50-yard line. Blaine Mayo, the sophomore for the Eagles, went right. He zigged right. He zagged left, and he made a great first down. He had just a little bit of an opening, and he was able to make a big gainer. The ball is squarely on the 50-yard line. First down, Woodrow.
That's an 8-yard gain on fourth down, and I'll tell you, Coach Lilly and his offensive coaches really have a lot of confidence in that offensive line. Early in the game, in their own territory, to go for it on fourth down, so that penalty really didn't hurt Beckley. The Flying Eagles overcome that. They have 1st and 10 at midfield. Beckley up 6-0, 11:36 remaining here in the first half.
Ian McCullough on the counter play hands it off to Mans. Mans coming left, and he's got 5 yards. And that's what Coach Lilly had told us. If his running attack can get at least 4 yards per rush, you're going to do very, very well. And the play was led that time by big Micah Carter, the 6'5", 320-pound Beckley Jr. And boy, I tell you, Mans knew what to do with that block.
Well, no doubt about it, Bill. That's a 5-yard pickup on first down. If the Flying Eagles continue to do this, and I know there's a lot of football left, and they don't turn it over, chances are they're going to be very successful in this game tonight.
On the Capital Cougar 45-yard line, Beckley has it 2nd down and 5 to go. 6-0 Woodrow in the opening minutes of the second quarter. Big crowd here at Flying Eagle Stadium. Blaine Mayo gets the pitch. He turns upfield, middle of the field. He's got another 5 yards. First down, Woodrow Wilson down to the Capital 40-yard line. Blaine Mayo beautifully following his blocking. The ball is squarely on the 40-yard strike. They don't have to measure that one, Maris.
No measure needed there. Flying Eagles looking good. They pick up 5 yards at a clip the last 2 plays. But by the way, Bill, I was able to text a message, and we are in the second quarter over at Shady, and James Monroe is in front of the Tigers 8-7.
Well, that was a tough loss last week. Shady Spring losing in double overtime to Greenbrier West. Vince Culacerto, the former Woodrow assistant coach, who's now the head man at Shady Spring, and we wish him well. He's a great guy. 1st and 10, Beckley, counter play again, turning upfield. That's going to be good for a lot. Whoa, look at this. That's Ali. He's got 5, 10, 15 yards and more. Finally, he's grabbed from behind by his ankle at about the 22-yard line. It all depends where they spot his progress. What a great run by the Woodrow Wilson sophomore back.
Yeah, that was almost to be a touchdown. One of the Capital D-backs made a touchdown-saving tackle. Let's see where they put the ball at. It's going to be at the 22-yard line, and that will be an 18-yard pickup. 1st and 10 for the Flying Eagles, and the big uglies for the Flying Eagles doing their job, making those holes up front.
Boy, you got that right, Pudna. It's Adam Parkulo in at fullback. He's the lone back behind the quarterback, McCullough. Pitch it on the counter play again to Blaine Mayo, and he's going to be tackled after maybe a 2-yard gain, maybe 1. Let's see where they'll spot him. The ball is at around the 21-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 9 to go. 9:39 to play in the first half. At halftime, it'll be my honor to go down on the field and MC the Hall of Fame ceremonies. There are 6 new members to the Hall of Fame that will be inducted. We told you about them at halftime. And one of them, David Reed, will be coming up. He's an associate athletic director at Marshall. We had him on last year when he was in Beckley, and we'll have him on again tonight. And Bobby Pruitt, the former Marshall head coach, will have his uniform number retired, number 28. 2nd and 9. Here's Beckley heading the ball to Ali. He tries the left side. He slips one tackle, but he's not able to get upfield. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage at the 21-yard line.
Yeah, they're going to throw him for a maybe a little bit of a loss there, and let's see. But I got a couple other scores, Bill, to tell you about. Summers County leading the Liberty of Raleigh 13-6. They're in the second quarter there, and also, as I mentioned, it is 8-7 in favor of James Monroe leading Shady. They're in the second quarter there. They're going to put the ball down, Bill. Let's see where they're going to put it.
25-yard line. They'll say a 4-yard loss because on the near sideline he had made it to his 21, or the Capital 21, but he must have stepped out of bounds right in front of the Beckley bench. The players are standing and clustered right there on that part of the field. From the Capital 21, 3rd down and long. And it's a double reverse. Give it to Mans. Mans gets back to the line of scrimmage, the 25, and he's tackled there. That was slow in developing. And the Capital Cougars, Maris, you as a former defensive player know what we say when we say the defenders stayed at home, and that's what Capital did.
Right. Well, you read your keys. You don't go for the fake. You stay at home. And let's see what Beckley will elect to do on this 4th down play. Probably too far for a field goal. The ball's on the 25. You're looking at a 42-yard field goal attempt. They're not going to try a field goal. They're going to go for it. Look for for Ian McCullough to put the ball up here. The ball's at the Capitol 25. The spot to make is going to be the 12-yard line, so they're going to make 13 yards here.
Okay, the Eagles are ready, leading 6-0 in the middle of the second quarter. Looking to throw as McCullough. Play action fake. Looking deep. Firing. He's got a man wide open at the 10. He hits Mike Lyons. He breaks a tackle and goes to the 5. And he's going to be bumped down at the 3-yard line. On the far side of the field, Mike Lyons, the tight end, catches that pass from McCullough. And the Eagles are knocking on the door. First and goal at the 3.
What a great play. Good job by the offensive line, giving McCullough time to throw. McCullough steps up in the pocket. Looks like a delayed route. Lyons lines up on the left side, goes across the field. He's wide open. He hauls it in and he picks up good yardage after the catch. What a big fourth down conversion to a first and goal at the 3-yard line.
And Maris, you're right, because Lyons started on one side of the field, wound up on the other, but the defender, I don't know where he went, because Lyons was wide open. Here come the Eagles. Need 3 yards. 4 tries to get it. They'll run up the middle. It is close, but not in. So Beckley's Edijay gets the carry and gets maybe 2.5 yards. It'll be second and goal for Beckley on about the 1-foot line, Maris, with just under 7 minutes to play in the first half, and the Eagles with a 6-0 lead.
Right at the goal line. You've got to love, Bill, what you're seeing out of Beckley. They got a long touchdown drive of 89 yards. Then it was 3 and out. This drive started back on their 33, and I'll have to count up the plays, but we're into double digits in number of plays on this drive, and it's going to be second and goal right at the 1-foot line.
Beckley ready. McCullough calling signals. He needs a foot. He gives it to Mans. Mans angles to the right side. I don't think he got it. He needed a foot. He was stopped at about the 1-yard line. So that Capital defense comes through. They've got some big old galoots there on the front wall. 348-pounder Lawson. They've got a 238-pounder named English, and Thompson at 207. They use a 3-man front and 5 linebackers, and of course they're all clumped together.
And they're called what?
They're big old galoots.
Galoots. I remember you said that about Darian Scott, who's in the NFL. You called him a moose something, and I told him, I said, that was Bill that said that.
He was a bull moose.
That's what you called him.
But I told him it was Maris Lowry who called him that. All right, Eagles ready. 3rd and 1. And that's a rushing touchdown up the middle for a score. Beckley going right up the gut. A 1-yard touchdown. Beckley's got it with Adam Parkulo scoring with 5:46 to play in the second quarter. It's 12-0 Flying Eagles.
What a good-looking drive. The Flying Eagles setting up in a swinging gate. Let's see if they'll go for 2 or if they'll kick it. But what a great drive and the big play, that fourth down conversion. McCullough hitting lines, but sets up a 1-yard plunge by Adam Parkulo to extend Beckley's lead to 12-0.
Swinging gate. The center stays in the middle of the field, and he's got a receiver there. Beckley's going to stay in that swinging gate. The ball is snapped to Mans. He's going to try to outrun the defenders for 2, and he does! He goes to the far side pylon. He dives and hits the orange rubber, and Beckley's got a 2-point conversion. How about that? It's 14-0 Woodrow, and so Beckley is doing it to the Capital Cougars, 14-zip with 5:46 to play in the first half. We'll pause for a minute on the Big Dog 99.5 WJLS.
That beautiful scoring drive by the Flying Eagles.
Well, it was a thing of beauty. So Woodrow with a 14-0 lead over a highly regarded Capital Cougar team, as Woodrow's Yambrick is ready to boot the kickoff right now. Chris Yambrick approaches the pigskin and skitters it along the ground. It'll be picked up at the 22-yard line by one of the Capital upbacks. Here comes the return to the 25, to the far side to the 30, to the 35, to the 40, and right around the 45-yard line, bumped out of bounds was 22, Jerry Harris, 171-pound, 5'6" senior running back for the Capital Cougars. We'll see where they spot his forward progress before he crossed the far sideline. It's going to be near midfield, Maris, and
excuse
so
me, Bill.
yeah, the 44 is where they'll spot.
44-yard line. That last scoring drive by the Flying Eagles, a thing of beauty. Beckley goes 67 yards in 14 plays in 7.5 minutes. They get a 1-yard touchdown run from Adam Parklow. Marcus Manns tacks on the 2-point conversion, and right now the Flying Eagles in front, 14-0, with 5:37 remaining here in the first half.
Capital going toward the right end zone, toward the high school end of the stadium, running play to rush the fullback. He is able to bulldoze his way forward for 3, maybe 4 yards. So a good start from the 44-yard line for the Capital Cougars trying the running play. Well, they'll give him up to his 48-yard line. It'll be second down and 6 yards to go. 5 minutes and 17 seconds on a turning second quarter clock. Beckley up by 2 scores.
And Bill, that last scoring recap brought to you by Leisure Lanes. What are you going to do after the game? Check out Futuristic Bowling, and that happens every Friday night from 11 o'clock to 1:15 a.m. Check out Leisure Lanes.
Beckley blitzing Witten, the quarterback, and he is going to be sacked. Whoa, what a play. The Flying Eagles had that one smelled out right now, and who got him?
Adam Parklow in on the play, and Witten never had a chance. Good Flying Eagle defense. Going to bring up 3rd and long. The ball's going to be put down at the 38-yard line, and the spot to make is going to be the Beckley 46. So 3rd and long coming up here for Capital. Here in a minute, Bill, I'll be able to get a few scores in.
Oh, that was something else. So the Flying Eagles are pulling out all the stops as they blitz. Ball is on the 38-yard line. Capital 3rd down and long. 4:24 on a turning second quarter clock, and 14-0 is the Eagle lead. Malik Witten, the southpaw quarterback out of the eye, looking to throw. Rolling, stopping, popping. He's got a man wide open. It's caught for a first down to the Beckley 45. Still on his feet to the 40, to the 35. Knocked out on the 34-yard line. That was Corey Bennett who caught that ball in amongst the Beckley zone, and he makes a big gain. That's a huge play for Capital. They've got it on the Flying Eagle 34, 1st and 10.
Yeah, that was a big play. Good protection that time. Witten back in the pocket, and he throws a strike, cutting across into the center of the field. Corey Bennett, the 6'2", 179-pound junior, and he almost broke that for the distance. Capital's in business now. A 1st and 10 at the Beckley 34-yard line.
And Witten had to throw across his body. He showed us plenty. Give this to Guy. The shifty tailback has got a 5-yard gain down to the Woodrow Wilson 30-yard line. So Capital trying to get on the board here in the late minutes of the first half of play. Well, the sun has gone behind the far stands, but you talk about Friday night lights. If you've not been to a high school football game lately at Flying Eagle Stadium, you cannot beat it. The color and the great teams here with this Mountain State Athletic Conference, week in and week out, it is going to be fun to watch. Second down and a long 5 for Capital, deep in Beckley territory. Quarterback pitches it out. It is fumbled. Beckley scrambling for the ball. Looks like they've got it. They do have it at the 40-yard line. How about that?
Adam Parklow making a big defensive play, and just when it looked like Capital was gaining some momentum and trying to get back in the game, the Flying Eagles come out with a huge defensive play. So Beckley gets the ball on the turnover. 3:09 remaining in the half. Beckley will take over a 1st and 10 on their own 39-yard line. Beckley in front, 14-0. And Bill, let me get a couple of scores in here real quick. Let's see what we got. We have Princeton 7, Buchanan of Upshur nothing. Actually, excuse me, Princeton 7 and Bluefield nothing. That's a first quarter score, and I'll get you some other scores here in a second as Beckley will take over on this possession on their own 39-yard line.
Wow, that was something. So Adam Parkulo, who really playing a whale of a game, but linebacker Beckley's going to try. The halfback. Pass play, they got a man out there, and it's tipped away back at the Capital 20-yard line. The Eagles' McCullough threw that ball to Marcus Manns, who is a backup quarterback. Manns had plenty of time from the backfield. He cranked up that arm and fired the halfback pass as far as he could fling it way down the field. One-on-one coverage. It was knocked away at the last moment.
And I love the play. Take some chances. You can do that now when you're up. But it was a good job by Markil Ali. He actually became the defender to make sure that ball wasn't intercepted to knock it down. But I love the play. I love being aggressive. So the Flying Eagles will come back 2nd and 10 on their own 39-yard line. Beckley really in command of the game, leading Capital 14-0 with an even 3 minutes remaining here in the first half.
Here come the Eagles. Again, the double wing. McCullough sends a man in motion. He pitches it to Manns, who was in motion. He turns the right corner, and he's got a big gainer. He's got a first down across midfield. He's to the Capital 40, 35. Whoa, what a play. That's Marcus Manns shifty runner that he is, just needed a little bit of an opening, and he knew what to do with it around the right side. We'll see where they'll spot his progress. It will be at the 43-yard line.
Of Capital, that's right. Big play from his own 39 to the Capital 43, and Bill Beckley is doing it, beating it up on the ground. Great job of that offensive line. Speed and power, fresh legs. I mean, they're throwing Ali, they're throwing Mayo, who had a touchdown. Then they bring in Parklow. I mean, Beckley's got abundance of players that they help wear down a defensive unit, and Beckley's got Capital's defense back on their heels right now.
Well, they really do. The ball is on the 43-yard line of the Cougars out of Charleston, where Woodrow is perched. First down and 10 to go, 14-0 favor of Woodrow, as the Eagles have scored once in each of the first two quarters. At halftime, the Hall of Fame ceremony, and also the jersey number of Bobby Pruitt will be retired. He's here in the stadium tonight. Hopefully we'll get him on the radio. Counterplay Woodrow. That's going to be good for a lot of yardage. Nearly a first down. Going through there was Wesley Walker. He turned upfield over the left guard position and is able to wriggle his way down to the 34-yard line. It'll be second down and about 2 yards to go. Into the ball game is Ali for Woodrow Wilson along with Brian Price. Walker will get a rest.
And Bill, Flying Eagles just throwing fresh back after fresh back at Capital. Got a quick score update. James Monroe is in front of Shady Spring, 22-7 in the second quarter.
Second down here and 2 yards to go. Woodrow Wilson inside the Cougar 35-yard line. Pitch the ball out to the man in motion. There's a big hole, and there's a big first down for 33 Markel Ali. The super sophomore had a huge hole, and then he turned on the speed and gets it down to the Cougar 30-yard line.
Well, got Randall Puckett keeping stats, and Randall, the main stat is the Flying Eagles are really eating up the yardage on the ground tonight.
Yeah, they're looking very impressive on the ground, just as well as they did last week. What really impresses me right now is what the Flying Eagles are doing on the line of scrimmage. They're going against bigger, stronger guys, but they're really dominating the trenches right now, and I think that's been the big difference.
The ball is closer to the 29-yard line of Capital, where Woodrow's got it first and 10. Again, out of the double wing, pitch it to Mans. He turns upfield, breaks a tackle. He is down to the 20, and he's tackled on the 18. He needed to get by one man who reached out and grabbed him by the ankle. Well, I'll tell you, Stephen Burrows' bumpers got him. I can't read your writing.
I'll tell you what, if Stephen Bumpus doesn't get Mans by the ankles, that's the third Flying Eagle touchdown. Beckley just dominant up front right now, trying to add another score before halftime. A minute and a half remaining in the first half. Beckley up 14-0, and they're threatening for more.
The Eagles on the 12-yard line, and Capital wants a timeout. So with 1:31 left in the half, Beckley 14-0, and the Eagles are 12, or rather... Jancare Ambulance High School football scoreboard, but we'll also recap the first half of this ball game, and then we'll have a couple of interviews. We also asked Tony Jones, one of the former football stars here in Beckley, to come up and spend a couple of minutes with us. So we've got a lot of people to talk to at halftime and a lot going on. Right now, here's Beckley from the Capital 17, and the ball off to Mans. Mans is hit at the 17. He spins ahead and gets a yard, maybe two. All depends on where they spot it. Clock is turning, a minute 15 to play in the first half.
And Beckley still has 2 timeouts left, so they really don't have to be in really rush mode. They can take their time and try to get points on the board without leaving Capital any time remaining here in the first half.
Ian McCullough is the signal caller. He's done a great job for Woodrow. The ball is on the Cougar 16, where it'll be second down and 9 yards to go. Double wing, man's in motion. And it's the counter play. And the ball to Ali. He slips a tackle, and he's down to the 10-yard line, and Beckley will call a timeout. 46 ticks left in the half, and the Eagles ask for a TO with a 14-0 lead, Maris.
Yeah, this is a good timeout. That leaves you 1 timeout left. Look, Beckley to put it up. We'll be back, and after you hear this, you're listening to Flying Eagle Football on 99.5 WJLS. Yeah, play this one, and then back to me.
The ball has been spotted on the Capital 11-yard line, where Woodrow's got it third down and 3 to go. 46 seconds left in the half, and Beckley trying for their third touchdown. Pitch of the ball out. Here comes the play. Here comes Ali. He tries the middle. He's inside the 10. He's going to be tackled around the 6 or 7 yard line. And Beckley will take another timeout with 39.6 seconds left in the first half. Eagles are up 14-0, Maris. And you talk about an insurance touchdown if the Eagles could score. They're spotting the ball on the 6, and that's a first down and goal, Woodrow.
And Bill, Beckley did not burn their last timeout, so they still have a timeout here.
Here comes Beckley. McCullough now, he will spike the ball and take that timeout. Very smart play.
Well, Capital looked like they jumped off sides, but there is no flag. But still, Beckley, by spiking it, they stop the clock, but they still keep that timeout in their pocket. So it'll be second and goal at the 6 yard line with 31.2 seconds left in the half. I think if you're Beckley here, Bill, obviously with one timeout, you can run it, but I think look for Beckley to put it up, perhaps try to get the ball to the tight end lines. Let's see what they do.
Well, Lyons made a big catch earlier in the night. Beckley with 2 touchdowns, Mayo on a 43-yard run, and Parkulo a 1-yard run. By the way, this drive by the Eagles was set up when Capital fumbled and Parkulo recovered. And the ball off, Blaine Mayo. He's going to the right side. He's going to be gang tackled right around the 3-yard line. Timeout now with less than 25 seconds, 24 seconds left.
See, Bill, there's their last timeout. That's why they could have ran the ball there, because they had a timeout to burn. So it's going to bring up third down.
Cougars in here with an impressive win last week against Huntington. Beckley with an impressive win last week here against Riverside. These two heavyweights both ranked in the top 10 according to the Charleston Daily Mail. And Beckley has really done the job. Third down and goal, Woodrow on the Cougar 5.
And Bill, with no timeouts, you have to throw the ball, but I think you have to throw it into the end zone. I don't think you can throw it short of the end zone and hope your guy can get in.
24 seconds left. Pitch the ball out. Halfback option pass coming. Mans fires over the middle. It's complete. It's a touchdown. That's Coleman, I think, who caught that ball. It's Lyons. Beckley's got the pass and another score. It's 20-0. How about that?
Lyons, what a big play. The second touchdown reception of the game by Lyons. Marcus Mann's doing it all with his legs, with his arm. What a well-executed play. The Flying Eagles are putting it on Capital right now, leading 20-0.
I'll tell you what. You talk about creativity by this coaching staff for Beckley. You have seen it and heard it tonight. Swinging gate now. The Eagle linemen go from the left side now to the center, where they join the center and the holder and the PAT man, who is Chris Yambrick. At the left end zone, the ball is put skyward. The line drive is good. Just made it. Beckley 21, Capital nothing, with 19 and a half seconds to play in the first half. And the Beckley team has really put it on. The folks from Charleston will be back. Is playing tonight is something that, if you're a fan of football, you've got to love it. Yambrick is ready to kick for the Eagles. Here it comes. Nice end-over-end drive down to the 7-yard line. Here comes the return up the middle, 15, 20, 25, that's it. And 14.9 seconds left in the half. Woodrow 21-0. Here's Maris.
Bill, let's take a look at that last drive. The Flying Eagles go 61 yards in 11 plays, covering 2 minutes and 49 seconds. And it's a thing of beauty with no timeouts left on third and goal. A halfback pass from Marcus Mans to Mike Lyons, the PAT good. Beckley in front, 21-0. Your scoring recap brought to you by Leisure Lanes, Johnstown Road in Beckley. After the ball game tonight and every Friday night, check out Futuristic Bowling. That's what Bill O'Brien's going to do tonight, and you can do it from 11 o'clock to 1:15 with Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, right. I'm going to be doing scoreboard shows out of the I formation. Here's Rush, the fullback. He's got a big gator. He's got 5, 10, 15, 20 yards, and he's gang tackled at his 44-yard line with 7.7 seconds remaining. You know, this is a good team. You cannot let up on them. And Brandon Rush, 5'11 senior fullback, 230 pounds, not only showed his power, but then got a head of steam going, and he gets a big gainer. It'll be stopped at the 44-yard line. Now they're letting the clock roll out. I'm a little surprised. Oh, there they go.
They're going to call a timeout with .3, so this will be the last play of the half. They're going to try probably a Hail Mary pass. Boy, what a first half this has been for the Flying Eagles.
Well, and now they let the clock finish. That's the end of the first half. Or is it? Now, one referee is saying that's it. Another one is saying we got one more play to go.
Well, Bill, I think there's perhaps one more play. Last week we couldn't get the clock to move that fast, and this week it's moving a little too fast. In all fairness to Capital, they should get one more play. But you know, Bill, all this football is making me a little hungry. I hope the Bellasinos guys are listening. It's halftime. We're looking for our Bellasinos pizza.
Well, you're going to have to enjoy it all because I'm going to be down on the field doing the halftime ceremonies for the Hall of Fame. And we've just got a couple more Hall of Famers who have made their way to the stadium, and that'll be added to my list. And then former Marshall headman Bobby Pruitt's uniform will be retired. He is here, and we did not get a chance to talk to him before we came up to the booth, but hopefully we can get him up here for sometime during either halftime or the second half. All right, Capital have the ball on their own 44-yard line with 2 seconds left in the half. That's what they've spotted it. They will go to the eye, but Maris, as you said, this will be a Hail Mary throw. Witten looking, pumps fakes, and he's now rolling for his life, running, and goes to the sideline at the 50, and that is how the end.
Well, Bill, there's a penalty
we got a
flag.
penalty. I was going to say that's how the half will end, but no. Dickie, I'm going to have to get you to sit down, my friend.
If it's against Beckley, if it's against the Flying Eagles, that won't end the half. And if it's against Capital, obviously that will end the half. So let's see what the penalty is going to be. It was a very, very late flag. The Beckley players are pointing toward Capital, and if that's the case, the half will be over. We're waiting for the indication. As the Beckley players are coming off the field, it is a penalty on Capital. It is declined, so we have played the one half, and the Flying Eagles look very impressive. At halftime, at Flying Eagles Stadium, your score, Beckley 21, Capital nothing. Your halftime being brought to you by Sir Pearl Beckley, called Steve and Sandy Kelly. We'll be back after you hear these important messages. We're listening to Flying Eagle Football on 99.5 WJLS.
Angela Bumgarner, Sarah Canaday, Alyssa Klein, Laura File, Ariel Fink, Brittany Flynn, Chanel Jefferson, Sarah Lilly, Shelley Motley, Courtney Nancy, Kristen Norris, Corey O'Donnell, Caitlin Filion, Amber Sanders. Coaches Blaine Bailey and Sherry Morgan.
Hey, we can use our 500. We can use 500
Let's hear it for the Rowdies.
Yes, yes.
Capitol Marching Band, we would like to introduce the members of the Woodrow Wilson High School Football Hall of Fame. And then we will introduce the newest inductees, and then we'll have the ceremony with Coach Bobby Pruitt. First, we would like to say welcome to Steve Kelly from the class of 1983. Come on over here, Steve. David Stafford, 1978. Rusty Wooten, 1996. Rich Wooten, 1993. Danny Lilly, 1970. Randy Lilly, 1975. Doug Korchak, 1974. Doug Lowe, 1974. Scott Morris, 1976. Paul Legg, 1983. Mike Green, 1985. Greg Robinson, 1987. Frank Hartenstein from the of 76. Mike Duncan from 1998. Chris Rose, 1991. John Chappelle, 1983. Tony Jones, step forward, young man. And now the last members we're going to introduce this year's group. First, we would like to say congratulations to Mike Harvey from the class of 2000. He is not here tonight, but Mike Harvey is one of the inductees, linebacker. 2000, he was on that 1999 playoff team and was a first-team Cofield Conference member. Joe Scott, who was here earlier for the class of 2000 and is here right now, first-team All-State lineman from that 99 playoff team and first-team Cofield Conference. Joe Scott, congratulations. Danny Donnelly from the class of 2000. He was tight end, safety, punter, first-team Cofield Conference, and that 98 team, 99 team. Ryan Morris, class of 2000. All-State Special Honorable Mention, and was a first-teamer Cofield Conference on that 99 playoff team. And David Reed from the class of 1990, All-State Honorable Mention defensive end, and first-team Cofield Conference. These are the newest members of the Flying Eagle football team, along with Tony Giles. Tony from the class of 99, and a 5-sport letterman. So congratulations. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Most of you realize that Bobby Pruitt is a Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagle. He's already a member of the Hall of Fame, and he's about to have his uniform number retired. So it's good to see you again. Congratulations. Great to be home. Coach, I'm not sure if most people remember that you wore number 28. I hope that's what you wore because that's the uniform we've got. All right, let's bring that down. Here is uniform number 28, Bobby Pruitt, the all-time winningest coach at Marshall University.
On behalf of Beckley, Woodrow Wilson, we'd also like to present this plaque to you. Let it be known, Bobby Pruitt, that Woodrow Wilson High School is retiring your number 28 for all your accomplishments as a player and award-winning Division I coach. This day, September 2nd, 2005. Thank you for all you've done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. God bless. We are the Eagles. Coach Bobby Pruitt, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Up and get ready for the all-maroon Woodrow Wilson team as the mighty Flying Eagles with a 21-0 lead. We'll see what Capital coach Jack Woolwine has to say. Here comes the kick by Beckley. End over end, and this one is deep. And the deep man takes it on the 1 yard line for Capital. Return up the middle to the 10, 15, 20. And that's going to be it at the 25 yard line. My goodness, the Eagles were right there. Tyler Coleman was amongst several players to make the stop, and so Capital will have the ball first off in the second half on their own 25 yard line.
And Bill, the first drive of the second half is brought to you by Rick Allen, Nationwide Insurance on Ritter Drive in Beaver. Give Rick Allen a call for all your insurance needs, 252-1660. Well, Beckley leading in the ball game, 21-0. We're ready to start the second half. First and 10, Capital on their own 25 yard line.
Beckley Quarterback Club, and Larry Massetti has just given me my official Eagle cap. Here's a fullback rush from Rush, and he plows forward for a couple of hard-earned yards. Let's give you the Capital offense one more time. By the way, that tackle was made by Richard Stowers for Woodrow Wilson. Here's Capital. Demetrius Thompson is the center. They've got Workman and English on either side of him. English at 238 pounds and Workman at 220. The tackles are Roger Bean at 331 pounds, 331 at 6'8". And Jordan Big Daddy Lawson, a 6 foot, 341 pound senior. And then the tight end is Ryan Seacrest. They're ready to go, second down and 8. They have the ball on their 27 yard line. And back is Malik Whitten, and he's going to be clobbered by Mike Lyons. Lyons, who played such a terrific first half for the Flying Eagles offensively, came in defensively and lowered the boom on the 19.
Bill, what a big play that was by Mike Lyons, untouched coming in from his defensive end position, and Malik Whitten never saw him, and he probably never felt him. The next thing you know, Lyons was on top of him. He felt him now after he hit him, and puts the ball back at the 19. So the spot to make will be the 35. So they're going to need 16 yards on this third down play.
This is a sophomore quarterback for Capital. Their regular quarterback had grades problems, and so he's gone. He was a good one last year when they made the playoffs with a 9-4 record, and they're giving it to the tailback guy. He will try the middle. He gets a yard, and the Flying Eagles make the sure tackle right there, and I see Parculo amongst about 6 maroon shirts.
J also in on the play, and Bill, you've got to love the way this second half started for Beckley. You kick off, you keep Capital deep in their hole, in their own territory, 3 and out, and if Beckley can handle the punch, you get excellent field position. Tyler Coleman here on the near side, standing on his 45. Marcus Mann's on the far side, awaiting this punt.
Tyler Sheets will punt for the Cougars from his 5 yard line. He's asking for the snap, taking plenty of time. Good snap. 3-man rush, nice kick, very high, not too deep, coming down near midfield, and it takes a Capital bounce around the Beckley 45 yard line. It'll be whistled dead right there. Nevertheless, the Flying Eagles will have their first opportunity on offense, and they'll have great field position from their own 45 yard line. You're tuned to the Big Dog, 99.5 WJLS FM Beckley. Here's my sidekick, Maris Lowry.
Well, the Flying Eagles looking good. They lead in the ball game 21-0, 9:41 remaining here in the third quarter. That last check, Bill, Flying Eagles opponent next week, Parkersburg, was in front of Greenbrier 30-0 at halftime. So if both of these scores hold up, what a huge game we'll have next week.
Yes, sir. Beckley ready from just across their 45 yard line, first down. And the ball off to Mr. Manns. Marcus turns the right corner, and he's got a big gainer, and he's got a first down, and he fumbles the ball, and Capital's got it on their own 45 yard line. So Manns made a great run, had the ball stripped right at the end of the play. He comes up limping, and Capital forces a Beckley turnover. That was one of the big things that Capital did last week in that huge win against Huntington when they won 35-7. They forced 6 turnovers, and tonight the Beckley team had taken care of the ball until now.
Yeah, first and 10 for Capital on their own 44 yard line. And Bill, while you were down on the field, this is one of the things that Randall and I talked about. We felt if Capital was going to get back in the game, they had to force some turnovers because they weren't making enough plays in the passing game. So let's see what Capital does. First and 10 on their own 44 yard line.
Capital coming toward the left end zone, looking to throw. Here is Witten, fakes the throw, rolls, and he's clobbered on his 33-yard line. Well, Parkulo right there to make the play for the Beckley team.
Boy, is there two Adam Parkulo's on the field. It seems like he's everywhere, like he's got a twin out there as he does a great job running down the Capital quarterback, Malik Witten. Witten had no chance. He's a left-hander, Bill. He's going to the right side. It's going to be a difficult pass for him anyway, and Parkulo runs him down. What a huge loss from the 44 back to the 33-yard line.
Adam Parkulo, the All-State Beckley linebacker, a 6'4 senior, 215 pounds, and what a night he has had. And we're early in the third quarter. 8:52 on a turning third quarter clock. Beckley leading 21-0. Bill O'Brien with Maris Lowry. Here's the snap. Witten back to throw. He stops. He pops. He's got a man wide open and hits him for about a 7-yard gain. He breaks a tackle at the 45, and he's into Beckley territory, taken down at the 45-yard line. That should not have happened. Austin Peters finally caught up to the play and made the stop on Kevin Streets for Capital.
And that will go as a first down, and you're right, Bill, that's what we call a yak, yards after a catch. And the Flying Eagles, there was two defenders there that should have had him, and neither one of them could get him down, and Capital makes one of their plays, one of their best plays of the night, perhaps their second longest play in the passing game, and they have a first down at the Beckley 45.
You know, after the Flying Eagles played almost a flawless first half, they've come out here and made a couple of mistakes, and they're trying to let Capital back in the game. Eagles are still up 21-0. Capital has it on the Beckley 45, first down. Give it to Rush. The fullback has a big gainer up the middle. He's across the Beckley 40 and down to the 38-yard line. So it's a gain of 7 yards. 6 yards is where they'll spot him to the 39-yard line of Woodrow Wilson. We have not mentioned the field conditions. Yesterday I had a chance to walk the field with head Beckley coach John Lilly, and it's skinned in the middle between the hash marks from the 35 to the 35, but after last week's monsoon, the field is in relatively good condition. They did play a middle school game last night. I think Park was the winner over Shady 12-0. Here's a running play to Rush. He butts heads at the line of scrimmage, keeps going, plows over a couple of Beckley tacklers. Ali is pounded into the ground, and there's a first down to the 32-yard line for Capital. Well, I tell you, Markel Ali paid the price from his free safety position trying to take on the 230-pound fullback for Capital, and it'll be a first down on the 32 of Beckley, where Capital has it 1st and 10.
Yeah, the big fullback Rush, he is a load, and that's back-to-back first downs. Capital trying to get back in the game. Beckley leading 21-0 as we approach the 7-minute mark remaining here in the third quarter.
Rush and Guy are in the eye. They pitch it to Guy. He will turn the corner, and he's going to be turned back after maybe a yard gain, and I saw Adam Parkulo's number 19 amongst other Beckleyians. It'll be a second down play, and we'll call it 10 yards to go, and the ball is still on the Eagle 32-yard line. We told you Witten is the quarterback for the Charleston team. Rush and Guy are the other running backs, and they've got Streets and Bumpus as the wideouts.
And Bill, one of the things we've seen last week at Riverside and seen tonight, we've seen this Beckley defense bend, but they haven't been breaking, and when the other teams really start threatening the goal line, the Flying Eagles stiffen up. Let's see what they can do. 2nd and 10 for Capital at the Beckley 32.
I formation, Witten back to throw. He's got all night. Firing over the middle, and it is well incomplete at the 15-yard line. He had a man back there, penalty markers now.
Personal foul on Inajay, late hit is Inajay, and this is going to be a huge penalty, and that's a good call as Inajay hits Witten late, roughing the passer, and that really hurts because it was going to bring up 3rd and 10, and now from the 32, move the ball up 15 yards and make it an automatic for the Cougars.
Inajay comes out. Michael Tonelli, 5'9", 215-pound junior, is into the Beckley lineup defensively, and talking to Coach Lilly about him, and he said, you know, I like this kid. He doesn't have as much talent as some of the other kids, but boy, does he have the desire, and he said, I'll take that kind of kid any night.
Well, Bill, they'll take the from the line of scrimmage, which was the Beckley 32, and they'll move it 15 yards to the Beckley 17-yard line, and that's a big play because it would have been 3rd and 10. Now it's a 1st and 10 for Capital at the Beckley 17.
We're late in the third quarter, 6:26 to play in the third. Woodrow 21-0, but Capital is driving 1st and 10 on the Eagles 17. And the ball to Rush. He breaks tackles. He is on his horse to the 10, to the 5. That was Keith Parker who carried the ball for Capital, and he advances the ball inside the 10, and they're going to spot him around the 6.
And that should be enough for a first down, and it is. So first and goal for Capital at the Beckley 6. So a costly turnover and then a costly penalty. And now Beckley wants to talk about it. The Flying Eagles will call a timeout. Timeout with 6:20 remaining in the third quarter. So they'll take it with them to restore Beckley in front of Capital 21-0.
You're tuned to the Big Dog 99.5 WJLS. Once we see what the Cougars can do. They're going toward the scoreboard end, toward the left end zone here at Flying Eagle Stadium. A crowd, I'm guessing, at better than 4,000, maybe more. Here's a running play, and they fake the handoff to the fullback. They give the ball off to number 1 Keith Parker, and he turns the left corner easily and scores from 6 yards away.
Capital gets back in the game, and they took advantage of 2 big Beckley mistakes, a Flying Eagle turnover and then a personal foul, and it gets Capital on the scoreboard. So the Cougars are back in it, making the score 21-6. 6:15 remaining in the third quarter as Capital will get set to attempt the PAT from placement.
So Parker gets a 6-yard run. The junior running back has fresh legs and knew what to do about it. 178.58 player. And the PAT will be attempted by Brad Dietzler, who was perfect 4 out of 4 last week. And his kick is on the way. It looks good. Penalty marker flies. The kick is good, but let's check the yellow penalty marker.
Let's see what we have. If it's on Beckley for roughing the kick or anything like that, it'll probably be assessed on the kickoff, waiting for the official, and it is going to be running into the kicker. Instead of maybe roughing into the kicker, we'll have to sort it out. The Capital gets back in it as they go 56 yards and 8 plays in 3 minutes and 19 seconds. The PAT good, and your score right now, or your new score, is Beckley 21 and Capital 7.
We'll be back in 30 seconds on the Big Dog 99.5 WJLS. And we'll be chatting with him. Yeah, Tony, you still look like you can play, my friend.
I think I'm all washed up as far as athletics. I'm considered a runner now, so football, basketball is kind of in the past for me.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that because you were one of the best. All right, here we go. Capital to kick it off, and this will be Dietzler to take care of that chore. He skitters it and hits one of the Beckley up people, and Capital falls on the ball at the Woodrow 45-yard line. That was one of the weirdest plays. The ball skittered forward. It inadvertently hit one of the Beckley linemen in the leg, and it bounced right back into a Capital player's hands, and they've got it right back with 6:13 to go in the third, Maris.
Wow, we got a ball game here, and I'll tell you, I don't think they intentionally meant to do that. They just tried to get it away from the Beckley speedsters deep, and they, as you mentioned, tried to skitter the ball down the field and then hit a lineman. But that last drive for Capital, 56 yards and 8 plays, a 6-yard touchdown run from Parker. The PAT good, 21-7. The scoring drive brought to you by Leisure Lanes in Beckley. Give them a call, 253-7328.
Here's Witten, the quarterback, hands it off for a running play, and the Flying Eagles are right there to stop that for no gain. That Beckley defense now, and they are getting just a little bit fired up. They're not really heavy. Parkulo is in amongst the play. And also, we got to give credit to Austin Peters, the middle linebacker for Beckley. Under 6 minutes left in the third, 21-7 Beckley.
Well, it could be nervous time here as Capital trying to get themselves back in it, and this is when the Flying Eagles really need to turn it up defensively and see if they can stiff out this drive. 2nd and 10 for Capital. The ball is at the Beckley 44-yard line. And what do we have? We have an official's timeout. It's 5:42 remaining in the third quarter. Plenty of football left, Bill, with Beckley in front 21-7.
I'm going to talk to Tony Jones for a moment. Tony, tell us what you're doing now.
I'm in pharmaceutical sales. I've been in that for probably almost 7 years now, and residing in Columbus, but it's nice to be able to come back and watch these guys play.
What do you think of that first half?
Really good first half. I guess it's a nice way to have all the Hall of Famers come back and basically watch a flawless first half from the Eagles.
We'll be back with more with Tony in a couple of minutes. 2nd down and 10 for the Cougars. In Beckley territory, they're rolling to throw. Witten stops, and he eludes a would-be tackler, and he doesn't elude Mike Lyons. Lyons gets him high, and Richard Stowers gets him low, and the Flying Eagles will sack him for a 2-yard loss back to the Woodrow Wilson 46.
You got to like the play. Parklow forced Witten inside, and Lyons was right there. And, Bill, when you were talking to Tony a minute ago, Marcus Manns came out of the game. He was injured as they brought him out. I didn't think you saw that because you were turning to talk to Tony.
Just under 5 minutes left in the third. You don't want Marcus Manns out of your lineup. He is so crucial both offensively and defensively, and the Flying Eagles have put a new player in. 21 is Dion Staunton.
Bill, it looked like he may have cramps. They're working with Marcus Manns right here in front of us on the Flying Eagle bench.
Beckley ready, or in defense, and Witten is looking to throw the ball. He's got a man down about 10 yards upfield, and the ball is short-hopped. Eagles had good coverage there, but it was a poorly thrown pass, and the clock stops with 4:36 left in the third.
Yeah, the ball was underthrown, short hopped, and that's a big defensive stance for the Flying Eagles, forcing up a punt right here by Capital.
Tony, you were one of those players that played on both sides of the ball. We'll talk about that in a moment because Capital must go into punting formation. And they got Streets ready at his 41. Beckley with twin safeties back on the 10. Eagles will rush the ends. Here's a nice kick, very high, down to the 11-yard line. And it is gathered in there by the Flying Eagles, and the return up to the 20, the 22, 23-yard line by TC Tyler Coleman.
Yeah, nice return by Coleman. We got a penalty flag on the play, and we'll sort out what the penalty's going to be here.
Tony, you played both ways. What did you like best?
I would say I was kind of pushed in more to the quarterback role, but defense I would say was my specialty, but I enjoyed playing them both.
So, you know, when you look at these teams now, you haven't been out of the game too long. Has the game changed any?
No, the smell is the same. It just seems like, I don't know, the athletes might be a little bit smaller, but they're definitely quicker, I think.
A little quicker, you know, and that's what most teams like now. They want to go on speed and quickness.
Well, speed kills, and right now this penalty is going to kill the Flying Eagles as they'll get Beckley for holding, and that will put them back in the hole. They had the ball out over the 20, and now they're going to put the ball back inside the 15. Looks to be about the 14-yard line. They haven't put it down yet. The official standing right at the 14. So that's where Beckley's going to start this drive, Bill. First and 10 on their own 14. 4:25 remaining third quarter. Beckley in front, 21-7.
Flying Eagles, this will only be their second possession of the second half, leading 21-7. And let's see if the Eagles can use some clock and get a drive going. Going from left to right toward the high school end at Flying Eagle Stadium. Man in motion is Mayo. He takes a high pitch. He goes right, then turns left and gets nailed for a yard loss. Well, let's see where they'll spot him. He might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage and maybe he was given a yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 9 to go as Blaine Mayo is in at a running back, the Beckley sophomore who scored the first Eagle TD tonight.
And I think it's important for Beckley right here to, keep the clock moving, at least get a couple first downs, even if you have to punt the ball away, at least kind of get out of the shadow of your own end zone here.
Yes, sir. Brian Price brings the new play in from the Eagles sideline, and he will set up at the tight end position. Ian McCullough calling signals out of the double wing. He will pitch it out of the man in motion. That's Mayo. He turns upfield to the left side, and he's got a big gainer. Check me on that. That's Wesley Walker. He turns it upfield, past the 20, to the 30, to the 40. Bumped out of bounds on the far sideline. There's a penalty marker.
Yeah, there's a late penalty flag that came in, and it's going to be a Beckley first down, but we'll have to see what the penalty is as the officials will have to get together. But that was a nice sweep by Wesley Walker on the far side.
And we'll check and see what the guys in the striped shirts have to say. Remember, next week we'll be back here at Flying Eagle Stadium when Parkersburg comes to town for the first time in many years. It's a face mask against the Capital Cougars, so a huge penalty in Beckley's favor.
Well, they'll attack it at the end of the run. It looks like an inadvertent face mask. They'll attack 5 yards at the end of the run, but nevertheless, the Flying Eagles will get a first down and have some breathing room as Beckley will have the ball 1st and 10 on their own 40-yard line.
Eagles are ready with twin receivers to the near side. One setback right behind the quarterback with a man in motion. Handed to the man in motion. Here comes Mayo turning the right corner. He breaks through tackles. He has got a first down into Capital territory, and he's going to be tackled around the 42, 43-yard line in front of the Beckley bench. Blaine Mayo followed his blocking beautifully.
What a great run, and Bill, I'm thinking the same thing. Mayo follows his blocking on the sweep. There's an injured Flying Eagle. We'll check out to see who that is, but he follows his blocking perfectly, and he knows when to cut up inside for a huge gain into Beckley first down.
Tony Jones is here with us. Tony, I'm going to let you coach one of his feet, and hopefully that's just nothing more than a cramp. He is a huge guy, and it is, even though the weather is just perfect for football, he's been working very, very hard.
Yeah, he may have taken a helmet on the knee or something on the knee. We'll check it out as they got him right here on the bench. But it's a Beckley first down, 1st and 10 at the Capital 42 with 3:28 remaining in the third quarter, and Beckley up 21-7.
All right, the Flying Eagles are in enemy territory with a new set of downs. Twin receivers go to the wide side, the left side of the field. McCullough in the crouch, gets the snap, hands the ball off to 33, Markel Ali. He turns the left corner. He's got a head of steam, and before he is wrestled out of bounds, he makes it to the 38-yard line, it looks like. So a nice run by Markel Ali, 5'9", 178 sophomore. You know, Tony, we got a couple of sophomore running backs, Ali, number 33, and Mayo, number 30, and those two guys starred at the junior high level, and you know, a lot is being expected of them.
They had a pretty young team last year, and it seems as if this year it's actually paying off, and you know, they can go to one or the other, and it seems like they're both doing a great job tonight.
Maris, you better watch out. Tony is going to take your job. You know, this guy knows how to do the color commentary.
And he's very smooth at doing it. You can tell he played on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I know he played defense, but you can tell he likes offense better.
Second down, 4 to go. Woodrow Wilson on the 38. And it will be a running play to the fullback, maybe a yard. There was a mass of humanity there. We've got 2 minutes and 24 seconds on a turning third quarter clock. Woodrow 21, Capital 7, and the Eagles are marching down the field. They have the ball on the 37-yard line, 3rd down and 3.
And Bill, this is the type of drive we talked about. Even if Beckley doesn't get points out of this, I think they've achieved what they wanted to. They've been able to get out of the, deep in their own territory. They've been able to run clock, and even if they got 2 downs, you figure they're in 4-down territory right here. So they got 2 downs to make 3 yards.
Adam Parculo is the new fullback. Enajay gets a rest. And the Eagles go into the regular double wing offense. 3 down linemen against it. Pitch the ball out to one of the running backs, and that is Marcus Manns. He is going to be wriggled down after a 2-yard gain to the 35-yard line. So happily, Marcus Manns was into the ball game. Unhappily, he was only able to gather a 2-yard advance. It will be 4th down.
Yeah, 4th down.
They show a 3rd down on the marker there.
Well, he's wrong. It should be 4th down. You
There
can
it
take
is.
my word for it.
I thought it was 4th down. I'm saying, wait a minute, I can only count to 4.
See, Tony's like giving me a high five on that one.
Tony knew. 4th down and a yard and a half to go, and Beckley will go for it. And first, a timeout by the officials. Boy, this crowd now is starting to get into it.
You know I didn't mean anything by that when I said
No,
you
no,
can
no.
take my word for it. That just came out, Tony. You know how quarterbacks do when you make the big break and get bumped?
It's like, I told you so, Bill.
That's it. See what I got to put up with every week. 4th down, a yard and a half to go. Pitch the ball out to Ali. He turns upfield. He's got the first down to the 31-yard line. He had a hole to open up. He was able to find that hole. Ali gets the first down at a penalty marker. Now flies well after the play was whistled dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was a late hit or somebody said something. It is a first down. We'll sort that out. There's a personal foul on Capital. We'll tack that on to the end of the play. It's something, you see how much fun Bill and I have every week.
Oh, absolutely. It's a blast up here.
All right, they're going to mark that one off. We've got less than a minute, 59 and a half seconds to go in the third quarter. Eagles 21-7. Beckley got a touchdown in the first quarter, added 2 more in the second, and Capital has had the momentum here in the third quarter, helped out by a couple of Flying Eagle fumbles, but now Beckley has started to get things rolling their way. The ball is being spotted down on the 17-yard line, where the Eagles will have it 1st and 10 on the Capital 17. And we're in the last seconds of the third quarter. James Monroe leading Shady Spring 29-7. That's a third quarter score from across the county. Brought to you by Jan Care Ambulance. Here come the Flying Eagles. Fake the handoff to the first man, give it to the second man through, and that'll be good for about 3 yards. So Woodrow trying the running play up the middle, and they're doing it against the big guys in the trenches for Capital. They've got a couple of huge guys, and Marcus Mann sort of slithered underneath them, Tony. You know, he is one of those players, sort of like you. He can do it all.
He's very slick, and he's run between the tackles really well, but even on the outside, if he gets out there, I don't think anyone can probably catch him.
Second down and 7 yards to go. We've got 12 seconds left, maybe one more play here in this quarter. The Eagles will put 2 receivers to the near sideline. 5, 4, 3, 2. They get the snap off just in time. It's a running play to Manns at the buzzer. He gets to the 15, and that's it. We played 3 quarters before a big crowd at Flying Eagle Stadium. It's Woodrow Wilson 21, Capital 7. Back with the 4th period in a minute on the Big Dog 99.5 WJLS.
8 or 9 yards on this third down play.
Well, we appreciate Tony Jones, who joined us for a sizable part of the last quarter. We thank him so much. He's one of the good guys. Now we've got a James Monroe 36-7 lead at Shady Spring. And again, that game is being played across the hall on AM 560 WJLS. Here's Johnson Central Kentucky leading the Logan Wildcats 35-18. We'll have all of the scores in our wrap-up, and then later on this evening, Beckley ready, looking to throw, firing over into the end zone, and it is incomplete. Intending the ball for Tyler Coleman. He had triple coverage, and the ball was a little bit over his head, and it's a good thing because there were too many people around him.
That's right, Bill, but I like the play, and McCullough, he zipped that ball in there, and it was a little high, and he got an injured Capital player in the back of the end zone. So it's going to bring up 4th down. Beckley in front, 21-7, 11:55 left in the game. And if you're Beckley right here, Bill, on the 15, I think they're going to try to attempt a field goal. So you're going to be looking at probably a 31-yard field goal attempt by Chris Yambrick.
Yambrick has not had a whole lot of success in his PATs from placement, but according to Coach John Lilly, he says Yambrick has the leg. He just needs the confidence and the game situation. And so he said, don't sell this guy short. This will be a 32-yard field goal try for Chris Yambrick, the 6'1", 175 senior. You might remember him from basketball season, wearing number 99 on his maroon outfit. The ball is placed down. Line drive is going to be good! A 32-yard field goal that just made it across the crossbar. Oh, how about that? It's 24-7 Beckley.
Wow, how about that? And the Flying Eagles overcame the high snap, so the Flying Eagles tack on 3 more. We'll take a break. Your new score, 11:52 remaining in the ball game. Beckley in front of Capital, 24-7. Just right in there. I'll see you say Yambrick.
Let's hear it for the blue guys.
Okay, you can play another one. Wow. I thought that had no chance. I thought that had no chance.
I agree with you.
Us with maybe a foot to spare. Had plenty of leg, and here comes the kick by Yambrick right now, and it goes into the end zone for the touchback. It hit down on the 10 and then took a big hop into the end zone, and so the Capital Cougars will get it. And that sort of stops the Charleston team momentum. It's 24-7 Beckley, and we've still got 11:52 to play in the game, but the Eagles needed that score.
And they did, Bill, and they took 4 minutes and 33 seconds off the clock. They went 71 yards in 11 plays. A 32-yard field goal by Chris Yambrick extends Beckley's lead to 24-7. That scoring recap was brought to you by Leisure Lanes, located on Johnstown Road in Beckley. They are forming fall bowling leagues right now called Mary G. Farley. The G stands for Got Game, Bill. You can call her at 253-7328.
All right, Capital out of the I formation. Beckley wants to blitz. They are really close, and the tailback guy will get it. He's got a big opening. Uh-oh, the blitz didn't work that time, and Ali comes up from his safety position and makes the grab, but it'll be close to a first down. There is a Flying Eagle player writhing in pain down on the 20-yard line, and so there is an official's timeout, and let's see if the medical personnel for Woodrow Wilson will come out there. Team doctor is Dr. Gary Poling. The athletic trainer is Ken.
Coach Lewis got out by that extra 17 points, so they got to score 3 different ways. That makes it a lot harder for Capital to come back and win this ball game.
31-yard line, Capital in their own territory, I formation, 1st and 10, fullback rush up the middle, and he's got a first down. Just plowed ahead. We keep using the word plow, but that's exactly what that bulldozer does, and they're going to spot him at the 41, maybe 42-yard line. It's another Cougar first down at the 41-yard line. Still a lot of time in this game, 11:21 left in it, and the Flying Eagles have a 24-7 lead.
Well, Randall made a good point. You need 3 scores, and I think this is hard to get 3 scores by running the ball like this because it takes up so much time. I think if you're Capital, you've got to start airing it out and throwing the ball down the field. Let's see what they do.
Wide out, both left and right. Eye behind the quarterback, Malik Witten. Witten's got the snap, gives to the tailback. Here comes Guy, turning off the left side, and he's able to gather it to the 45, 46, 47-yard line. So a nice run by the Capital Cougars, and of course, they want this clock not to be running so fast because they're down 24-7.
Well, that's what I say. By being down 17 points, I think if you're Beckley, obviously you'd like to stop for a yard or 2, but if they get 5 yards, it's still eating up a lot of time. And the time they get in the huddle, when this play starts, we're at 10.5 minutes to go, and Capital has it 2nd and 5 on their own 47-yard line.
Jerry Harris is the tailback. And they're going to give it instead to Rush, the fullback. He breaks a tackle. He's got a big gainer. He's down to the Woodrow Wilson 45, tackled on the 39-yard line. It took 5 Woodrow Wilson players to stop him, led by Richard Stowers for the Beckley team. But Capital has the ball on the Eagle 39, where it's 1st and 10 with 10:17 left in the game.
Bill, we got a score update. Westside leading Gilbert 18-14 in the 4th quarter. Also, it is Martinsburg 18, Rockbridge, Virginia 13. That's in the 4th quarter. It is Ripley pounding Cabell Midland at Cabell Midland 27-0. That's in the 4th quarter.
Okay, Malik Witten, the sophomore signal caller for the Charleston team, puts them in the pro set. He gives it to the tailback. Guy will try, and he'll get nothing. He tried to run off right tackle, and Stowers is on the bottom of the pile for the Beckley Flying Eagles, along with 5 of his best friends, including Etta J. Well, I tell you what, Stowers has really come through here in the last few minutes. 6'3", 250-pound Woodrow Jr.
And Bill, I know you hear a lot of coaches talk about this, but I think it was so true last night and even more so tonight. This has been a good total team effort. A lot of guys have stepped up and made plays on both sides of the ball, and that's why Beckley's in front 24-7 as we approach 9:20 and counting remaining here in the ball game.
The ball is on the Eagle 40-yard line, 2nd and 11. Twin receivers go to the left, to the wide side of the field. Play action fake. Witten fires, and it is caught. No, it's incomplete. Very close to being caught at the Beckley 28-yard line. He had a man out there, and that was Stephen Bumpus, who tried to shoestring catch it and couldn't.
The officials have done a really good job, I think, in calling this game tonight, and I was going to say they were right on top of that play, because if they had called it a catch, I was going, where's the instant replay? But no instant replay was needed. The official was right there on the play, and as I said, this crew has done a great job in this football game tonight.
We've got Neil Lacey in the booth next to us, and he's taping this game. We got to work with Neil's finger signals to you, though. You know?
Yeah, well, it depends on what finger he's signaling to me.
He's not holding up one.
I know what that is.
3rd down, 11 to go for Capital, and again they're going to throw. Witten back at the 50, firing, and he's got a man, catches it at the 24. Penalty marker there. That's a late hit by the Beckley defender.
That's right, that's a good call, and what a nice route that was ran by the wide receiver of Capital. Let's see who that was. That was number 3. Let me get who he is.
Kevin Streets.
Well, he did a nice job coming back for the ball, and then he gets bumped out of bounds. A late hit. They'll tack that on at the end of the play. So Beckley's had a couple of costly mistakes, and they'll tack this on to the end of that play, Bill. They'll put the ball down inside the 15. Official still marking. Looks like it's going to be put down about the 12 or 11-yard line. It will be a Capital 1st down at the Beckley 12.
You know, Maris, over the years, the Capital football team, and before that, when they were Charleston High School, they'd always given Beckley fits on the gridiron. But in the last 7 games, Coach Lilly reminded me, Beckley has a 4-3 advantage, and Coach Lilly has won 2 out of the 3 times that he has played Capital, and they've looked good tonight. Uh-oh, here's Rush. He's got a huge hole, and he runs it in untouched for a Capital score.
Yeah, 12 yards by Rush, capping off an 80-yard drive by Capital. There's still a lot of time left in this football game, Bill. With 9 minutes left, 24-13. Capital is still with this much time left. They'll probably keep it deep and want to play defense. So Beckley not out of the woods yet, as Capital will try to tack on their 14th point here.
And even 9 minutes to play in the ball game, so there's still plenty of time. 24-13 is the Eagle lead, and the PAT will be attempted by Brad Dietzler at the uprights to the right end of this field. Long count, decent snap, kick is airborne, it looks good, it is good. Timeout, 9 minutes to play in the game. It's Woodrow Wilson 24, Capital 14.
9 minutes remaining in the ball game. Beckley in front of Capital 24-14. The Cougars have just scored. Capital is set to kick it off, Bill.
Dietzler will kick the ball, and Beckley with twin safeties inside the 10-yard line. Line drive, and it's going to be taken by one of the upbacks of the 22. It's fumbled around and fallen on at the 22-yard line. So Beckley will have the ball, taking no chances that time. Woodrow Wilson's number 25, Philip Cox, made sure there were no other mistakes there. And so Woodrow will have this possession. Maris, you've got a score courtesy of JanCare, which I think everybody will be interested in.
Well, next week's opponent, the Parkersburg Big Red, laying the lumber to Greenbrier East. Parkersburg tonight, 44-0. Just talked about that last touchdown drive by Capital. The Cougars went 80 yards in 8 plays, and 12-yard touchdown run by Rush. The 18 good. It's 24-14. The story update brought to you by Lead Your Lanes, where tonight and every Friday night, futuristic bowling from 11 to 1:15 a.m. on Johnstown Road in Beckley.
Ball spotted on the 23. That's where Beckley will get it, and it's a handoff, and it's nothing doing for Ali. He tried to turn the left corner. One of the defenders for Capital grabbed him by the jersey and stretched that jersey and would not let go. And oh, that was a great defensive play by 51 Nick Tucker, who came from his outside linebacking position and got him back inside the 20-yard line. So it's a loss of 3 yards.
And the key thing here, Bill, if you're Beckley, you definitely don't want to turn the ball over, even if you go 3 and out. And I figured Beckley will go a little bit more conservative now as we're approaching 8:20 and counting left in the game. And it's going to bring up 2nd down and 13 for Beckley on their 19, and Beckley up by 10 at 24-13.
McCullough at quarterback hands the ball off, running play up the middle, a lot of misdirection, but boy, that's going to be good for about 10, maybe 11 yards. Close, but not quite a first down for the Beckley team, and that's Marcus Manns who carried the ball, and that was beautifully done. The misdirection play worked just right, and Stephen Bumpus made the stop for the Capital Cougars. It'll be 3rd down and a yard to go. And the ball is spotted on the 32-yard line with 8:08 to play in the game, and the Eagles up by 10.
Excuse me, we're going to have a measurement. I'm like you, it looks like he's not close enough to perhaps have a measurement. I'm thinking he's a good yard away, but we're going to have a measurement. They'll stretch the chains, and he's got a first down.
I beg your pardon.
Well, I saw it just as you did, so what a huge play, a nice, well-executed misdirection play, as you mentioned, with Marcus Manns up inside to pick up the first down at the 33-yard line.
Yeah, I would be interested in that, because this series started just shy of the 23, and now the ball is on the 32 and a half.
Bill, that's a 9-yard chain.
Yeah, I guess.
They cut one of the links out.
Got to do what you got to do. 1st down and 10, Eagles on the 32.5-yard line. Running play, fullback, up the middle. Whoa, look at J. He keeps going. Now he fumbled the ball, and it's going to be whistled dead. Who will have the ball, though? I think Capital winds up with the ball after a fumble after J gets 10 or 11 yards.
Well, it's a huge break either way, because Capital is probably going to get a touchdown if they don't blow it down. Beckley might keep possession of it, but what a huge break this will be for Beckley. The Flying Eagles will keep possession of it, and that's a first down. What a huge play, because Capital was off to the races to close this lead to only 3 points.
Wow. The ball is placed out on the 43-yard line. So the Eagles have dodged a good play this week. And here comes Woodrow from their 43. Pitch the ball out to one of the running backs in motion. That's Wesley Walker. He is never able to get a seam. He is bumped out of bounds. He's fumbled the ball. Capital's got the ball in front of the Beckley bench on the 44-45-yard line. So Wesley Walker not able to handle the ball, and Capital is back in business with 7:06 left in the game.
Yeah, don't go anywhere yet. Keep your radio on, because we've got a football game. Beckley leading 24-14. Walker coughs it up, so Capital has it 1st and 10 at the Beckley 45-yard line. And Bill, that is a very, very big play in this football game.
Well, it sure is, and the Flying Eagles, that's the 3rd turnover they've had in this half, and Capital was able to take advantage of the first turnover early in the half. The ball on the Eagle 45, where Capital has it out of the eye. Give it to Rush, the fullback. He's got a big opening. He's got a first down up the middle. He's still on his feet down to the Woodrow 31-yard line. He just had a head of steam, and it took about 4 Woodrow Wilson players to stop him, led by J. Well, I'll tell you what, this is one of those games where Mr. Momentum is wearing the blue and silver of Capital.
But if you're Beckley, you've got to somehow suck it up and find a way. You cannot let this one get away. Beckley has played too good. We're approaching 6:50 and counting remaining in the game for Beckley to let this one slip away.
Malik Witten is ready. Out of the eye, penalty marker flies. He gives it to the tailback. Guy is going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Let's check the markers. In fact, let me correct myself. That is not Guy. That is Jerry Harris, who is into the ball game at the tailback.
Bill, I think this is going to cost Capital 5 yards on illegal procedure. The officials are getting together, and that's what it's going to be, an illegal shift. So I would think that Beckley would take the penalty and back them up to the 36 and make it first and 15. That's what they'll do. And also, if you're needing a getaway, you can get away at Country Road Cabins in Ico, West Virginia. You can call them toll-free at 888-712-2246 or check them out on the web, www.wbcabins.net. So it'll be first and 15 for Capital at the Beckley 36. Actually, it turned out to be a 4-yard penalty because the spot was the 31. They'll move the ball back to the 35.
35-yard line, first down and 15 to go for the Capital Cougars in Beckley territory. 24-14. Eagles lead with 6:39 left in the game.
See, Bill, maybe it's not the length of the chain that's off. Maybe the field is off because we had we thought the chain was 9 yards, and now that was a 5-yard penalty. They were penalized 4 for it.
Well, we'll check that out in our post game, which will also have all of the scores, and Coach John Lilly will be in our wrap-up show.
But Bill, really for Capital, it's first and 35, and that's where the ball's at. They got to get it in the end zone.
Here they come. Straight eye in the backfield, Witten back to throw. Rolling left. That's his throwing side, and he's firing, and it is incomplete at the 20-yard line. There was one-on-one coverage on the far sideline, and the ball was not delivered where it needed to go, but Beckley had good coverage, and I think that was Tyler Coleman.
That's correct, TC, Tyler Coleman. And I'll tell you what, it looked like the Capital receiver was open, but Coleman really made it up with his speed and was able to get there, and the ball is incomplete. So with the incompletion, Bill, the clock stops. 6:10 left in the game. Beckley trying to hang on here, up 10, 24-14.
And next week, the Parkersburg Big Reds will be in here. They're clobbering Greenbrier East tonight in Parkersburg. So it'll be a rematch that we've not seen in a couple of decades. Fullback play, up the middle, there's room, there's 5, maybe 6 yards to Keith Parker. He's the man who scored the first Capital touchdown earlier tonight, and he's able to gallop forward for 5 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 10 yards to go for Capital on the Woodrow Wilson 30-yard line. 6:10 to play in the game.
Bill, I don't understand why the clock is stopped. The clock should not be stopped. It should be running. It is stopped at 6:10. I don't know what's up.
Now they're going.
Yeah, but it should have ran much sooner than that, because on a running play it should continue to run. So there was probably an extra 8 or 10 seconds that could have ran off right there.
Twin receivers go left. They're looking to throw left. They're firing left. They got a one-on-one situation. And the ball is knocked away at the goal line. Ali went way up at free safety and knocked the ball away from the wideout at the last instant. That saved a Capital touchdown.
And I'm really surprised that Capital would go for the whole shooting match on that play. I figure on 3rd down they would try to pick up their 1st down. Now it's going to bring up 4th down. The ball is at the Beckley 30-yard line, and the spot to make is going to be the 20, so they're going to need 10 yards here.
Markel Ali, he is gasping for air. He made a great play at free safety, and now he's going to have to suck it up here, because I imagine they'll go for the whole shooting match one more time. A lot of this Beckley crowd on its feet. Big play. 4th down and 10 for Capital at the Beckley 30. And as they come over the ball, the referee will stop the play for a moment.
Now let's see what we have. I'm not sure if Capital wants a timeout, but this is obviously the biggest play in the game up to this point with 5:50 left in it. Beckley trying to hang on. They're up 24-14. Capital's going to burn a timeout. We'll take it with them. We're scored. Beckley 24, Capital 14. 5:50 remaining in the ball game.
Back in 30 seconds on the
Beckley's leading Capital 24-14. Bill, Capital will have it 4th and 10 at the Beckley 30-yard line.
Neil Lacey popped in the booth. He did an instant replay on that J fumble earlier in this quarter, and he said the officials ruled it properly, that he was down, and then the fumble came. All right, let's see what the Cougars can do. They have gone around 5th-year head man Jack Woolwine, one of the fine coaches in West Virginia. He's been through this before. The Beckley fans now are starting to get into this game. Less than 6 minutes to go, and the Eagles up by 10. Capital ready. They're on the Beckley 30. They need 6. They're looking to throw. Witten is running for his life out of the pocket. He's set! He's set! Oh, what a play by the Flying Eagles, Adam Parkulo!
What a defensive play, Bill. The one thing, if you're the Capital quarterback, you cannot take a sack. You've got to unload the ball, but there was nowhere to go. Great coverage downfield, and then the pressure finally does Capital in, and Beckley will take over on downs. And we talked about, Bill, we've seen Beckley's defense bend, but they really haven't broke too much tonight, and that was a huge stop, and Beckley will get the ball 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line.
Well, you talk about somebody who gets a star by his name. That is huge. Eagles are ready on offense. They had the ball on their own 35, first down, 5:41 to go. And it'll be a running play to the fullback. Up the gut go the Flying Eagles, good for 5, maybe 6 yards. I think that's Parkulo. He had just made the, no, check me on that. That's unpiled him.
Excuse me, they're going to say his knee hit about the 37. But the thing right now, if you're Beckley, is just to chew up this clock. 5:20 and counting, 10-point lead, hang on the ball and try to run out the clock.
They've spotted the ball on the 38. Second down, 7 to go. Woodrow is ready. Again, the double wing. Ian McCullough is the quarterback. The ends are tucked in tight. Long count. Pitches it out to the man in motion. Wesley Walker tries the left side. Gets a hard-earned yard. So Walker is corralled by Keith Parker. And we're under 5 minutes to play in the game. Beckley up by 10 points.
A couple of score updates. Clay County leading Braxton County 20-7. That's in the fourth quarter. They're in the fourth quarter at Parkersburg. Next week's opponent, the Big Red, in control of Greenbrier East, 44-0. The scoreboard was brought to you by Jan Care. You see us everywhere, including local sporting events. Call Jan Care whenever you need them. 255-1588.
Tyler Coleman is into the ball game at a wide receiver, although they tuck him in. Mayo is in, fresh legs on the left. He's the man in motion. They pitch it to him. He's looking for room in the middle. He's got room. He's got about 5 yards. He had room in the middle, crosses this 40-yard line and tackled around the 42. So Blaine Mayo, who scored Beckley's first TD tonight on a 43-yard run in the first quarter, is in there now. 5'7" sophomore, 160. We've got the Liberty Summers County score. It's tied at 20. Late in the game, Liberty and Summers County tied at 20. James Monroe, a final now, as the Mavericks have defeated Shady Spring 42-13. Jan Care Ambulance bringing you our scoreboard updates. Fourth down, 3 to go. Woodrow punting time from the 30. Here comes the kick, almost blocked. But it is away. And it's taken on the dead run at the 33. A tackle by the Flying Eagles, Mike Lyons, who legally almost clotheslined the ball carrier. Grabbed him right around the pads and yanked him down with authority.
Well, Bill, the ball carrier, he came with teeth. I don't know if he's going to leave with any. Like he did. That's an old George Atkinson play, like clubbed him right there. But good coverage by the Flying Eagles. So Capital will have it. 3:33 left in the game. Beckley up 24-14. And let's see, the ball is going to be at the 42-yard line. First and 10 Capital on their own 42.
So the Cougars are putting twin receivers to the near side. They've got an eye in the backfield. And Malik Witten looking to throw, fires. He hits Rush, the fullback, for first down on the near side. He's across midfield. He's to the Beckley 45. Bumped out of bounds in front of the Eagle bench at the 42. So it's a nice play. Flaring out of the backfield, the big fullback, Brandon Rush, who caught that ball in mid-stride and then turned upfield with authority. And so the Cougars are in Beckley territory again. They'll spot the ball on the Eagle 41-yard line. But now time is the enemy of the Charleston team. 3:19 left on a turning fourth quarter clock. Beckley 24, the Cougars 14. Here's Capital. Witten looking to throw, rolling left, looking left, firing left, man wide open, caught at the 24-yard line and out of bounds right there. It's Stephen Bumpus, had nobody within 5 yards of him. He cut that ball and then tiptoed outside the field of play on the Beckley 24.
Smart play by Bumpus. Once he hauls in the pass, he knows he already has the first down. Get out of bounds, save that timeout. With 3:05 left in the game, Bill. Capital scores here pretty quick. Beckley's not out of the woods yet. Finders need to really come up with a big defensive stand right.
On the 24-yard line, Maris. Capital coming over the ball. 3:05 left in the game, out of the eye. Slot to the right, looking to throw to the right. Witten looking, firing long into the end zone. Man wide open! Overthrown! Wide open open was Corey Bennett. All he had to do was catch up to the ball, and the ball was over his head at the back of the end zone.
Yeah, that one's on the quarterback, Witten, because he had a man open. That would have been an easy touchdown, and Capital would have been right there. And Witten just threw the ball too far, and actually for Bennett to catch it, he'd have to run over on Johnstown Road to haul that one in. So it's going to bring up 2nd and 10. The Flying Eagles very fortunate there. The clock stops 1 second, under 3 minutes, 2:59 left in the game. 2nd and 10 at the Beckley 24.
And the Flying D people, Tyler Coleman and Markel Ali, knew that they should have had coverage, and they didn't. 2nd and long, looking to throw. Here's the pass, incomplete, down at the 17-yard line, intending for rush, and the ball was nowhere close. There was coverage by middle linebacker Austin Peters, but again, Maris, as you said, that was on the quarterback, nowhere near.
Yeah, 3rd down coming up. Obviously, with the ball at the 24-yard line, you got 2 downs to make 24 yards to get the ball in the end zone. 2:53 left in the game, and I think if Beckley can hold Capital here, I think they can solve the game away.
They moved the ball back to the 25, even though that was an incompletion. It's 3rd down. Oh well, that's okay.
And Bill, let me get a score in real quickly. Defending AA champion Bluefield on the verge of going 0-2. They trailed Princeton late in the 4th quarter, 24-17.
Wow, what a game that is in Mercer County. Back to throw is Witten. The Capital quarterback firing deep. He's got a one-on-one situation in the end zone, and it's well overthrown again. So that time, Witten, well, this is the 3rd pass in a row. He has just not been on target, and he's had people available.
Yeah, and that time was pretty good coverage downfield by the Flying Eagles. But if you're the Beckley team right here, Bill, if you can hold one more down, I think Flying Eagles are going to win the ball game because 2:46 left in it. And I think, obviously, this is, like I said, the down. If Beckley can come up big and keep Capital from making at least 10 yards, Beckley will be 2-0 in the season.
Ball on the Eagle 25, 4th down for Capital. This is the game right here with 2:46 remaining, and Woodrow nursing a 10-point lead.
Capital's taking a lot of time with under 10 seconds left on the play clock, and the Cougars are walking up to the line of scrimmage.
5 seconds left now. Again, the eye with 2 receivers near side. Witten back to throw, running for his life. He eludes one would-be tackler. He's still running. He shovels the pass. It is complete. He's got it to number 1, Keith Parker. Parker is tackled inside the 30 at the Beckley 26-yard line as the Eagle defenders had swarmed around the ball, and Beckley will get it on downs with 2:34 to go. I think I see a refrigerator, Maris.
Well, I would say this one's in the refrigerator. This has been a hard-fought victory after Beckley dominated the first half and led 21-0 at halftime. Capital came alive in the second half. And Capital's a quality football team, and they're going to win a lot of games this year. But I think Beckley can go ahead and seal the deal now. This will be a huge victory for the Flying Eagles, and what a big game we'll have next week. 2-0 Parkersburg Big Red coming to 2-0 Beckley. Probably the biggest game in the state of West Virginia next week.
Yes, sir, and we'll have it for you at 7:05 pregame next Friday, and let's get a huge crowd here at Flying Eagle Stadium for that. Beckley on their own 26, 1st down with 2:34 left in the game, and the Eagles up by 10. Pitch it to Mayo. Blaine turns upfield. He's got 5, 6, 7, 8 yards before he is tackled on his 33-yard line. So a nice run by sophomore Blaine Mayo. 2nd down. Let's call it 3 to go. Clock turns to 16 remaining.
Yeah, I'm surprised Capital's not calling a timeout here, but if you're Beckley, 2 things you don't want to do. A, you don't want to fumble. B, you don't want to run out of bounds. But I'm really surprised that Capital did not burn a timeout. It looks like they're just conceding the game because when Beckley snaps the ball on this play, will be under 2 minutes left in the game, and Beckley up 10 at 24-14.
Jacob Morris will snap the ball. He's done a great job at center tonight. Double wing. Beckley ends in tight. McCullough asks for the snap. He's got it. He hands it to the fullback. Running play. Good for a 1st down and more. That's Parculo keeping his feet across the 40 and tackled at about the 46-yard line. So Adam Parculo, who has made so many huge defensive plays tonight, gets a